pivot. Okay, the pivot really is the lifeblood of any athletic golf swing. Okay, it's what controls the arms, the body. The body controls the arms and the club head. Okay, the old saying, the dog wags the tail. Okay, not the tail that wags the dog. So being able to move your body in a correct fashion, correct manner, is actually going to help you to create all the speed and control that you need. With the body turning correctly as it should do, you're creating centripetal forces around your body as well, and you're going to have total control of the hands and arms and club by using the body correctly. So the way that we would tend to do this is you can practice this by doing the pivot drills. Okay, and there's various ones that you can do, which is with your arms across your body, or the piston drill, which is my favorite one, which I tend to do quite a lot because it gets the tilts in there as well. But there's various ways to do it. You can have clubs behind your backs or whatever, okay, or hands behind your back and doing it. The way I tend to try and teach it though is, if I'm looking at it, is I tend to break it down into 3 parts, which would be backswing, okay, turning back on the back, transition, and then forward swing. Okay, so I break it down into 3 areas. That's what I'm going to do here. Okay, so from the address position, okay, you can take your posture. Okay, so from the start here, so you take your posture, there's a slight tilt as well. Remember, there's a slight tilt with the left hip being higher than the right, and this sets my spine at a nice angle. All right, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to initiate the start of the turn with my core. Okay, the golf swing is a winding action. It's a coiling or a spiraling up action, as opposed to a turning motion. Okay, and there's a few factors that are involved in this as you do this, but I really want to feel as though the muscles are coiling up. So in here, my muscles work this way and they're stretching up. Okay, well, I'm going to initiate that from here in my belly. All right, so I'm going to turn back. So I'm going to turn that coil, that midsection away nice and slowly. I'm going to curl up till I get to my backswing position here. So my shoulders at the top of my swing would have turned 90 degrees. So my shoulders roughly 90 degrees, but my hips would have turned half of my shoulder turn, so 45 degrees, depending on how supple you are. It doesn't matter if you don't quite get there. Okay, my legs are supporting my body, and I can feel pressure in my right heel. So I've turned right back like so. Doing the piston drills, I can really get a sensation. If I get that slight tilt correct, I can really get that sensation of my right side coming up and my left side coming down. Ted's going to nick the ball. He knows he's doing that as well. So I'm going to slide that up like so, and that's the correct coiling position for the backswing. Practice that. I stay fairly central when I do this as well. My head stays fairly central as I do this. I don't have a lot of turning to the right. So coiling up, left shoulder down, right shoulder up, right side up, left shoulder, left side down. From here, the transition then happens, and for a split second, as my body's going back, my lower body is going forward. Okay, there's a slight gliding motion with my hips to the left hand side, and I'm moving weight from my right heel to my left forefoot, left toe almost. I'm going diagonally crossways this way, and for a split second there, I've got my hips are turning more, and they've increased by about 20 degrees maybe. So my shoulders will start to unturn a little bit, but my back still feels like it's facing the target, but my hips are turned a little bit more. So say they've gone now 60 degrees and I'm 80 degrees here. Okay, and that's for a split second. So I go back and split. This is like this stretching motion here. I feel like I'm stretching the torso out even more. Okay, I've also kept spine angle, and I'm still a little bit with my weight on my right foot as well. I haven't gone totally off my left side. Down to this position here. Also, there's a slight feeling of me lowering my body down. I feel like my left side is going downwards as I do this, and I'm compressing into the ground. I can feel pressure being put into my left side as I do this. Back, pressure down. From here then, I will then start to push off and start to open up my left side. My right foot will start to roll inwards. So down to here, I would then start to feel my left side working upwards as I roll this right foot in onto the side. I'm still maintaining posture through here. This is probably about impact position, and then after that my body then would turn up and around and I'll turn to face the target. My right shoulder would be probably the closest thing towards the target, and my hips are fully turned round, and I'm in a virtually straight line up and down here. I'm not leaning backwards. So piston drill, left hand down here, I'm coiling up, I glide for a split second, and then I pull this up here. All in the meantime, I'm trying to maintain my tilts and my turns. Okay, so the body is turning, but it's also going up and down, and also I'm tilting side to side as I do this as well. So as I'm going back, I'm standing tall, but I'm tilting to the side. So there's a lot going on there. There's a three-dimensional movement with the body, with the pivot. But this is one of the classic drills. It's just holding here, turn back, glide. I'm separating for a second, for a moment here. There's a split second where I'm separating, and then I'm pushing up and through. You would then start to blend this into one movement, going back, down, and up, and eventually start doing it quicker and through. Okay, I'm using the ground to push off the floor. Once you've done that, then you can start to practice that with a golf club and try to blend that movement in as you're doing it. Back, down, and up and around. So that's pivot. That's how I like to see the pivot. I've done that pivot movement for years. With the introduction of the A-swing, I sort of adopted more this action because it felt very dynamic. I liked the vision of the figure of 8 with the hips. You know, that sort of infinity ring that they sort of looked about, where the right hip went back, forward, and around. That was great. That was a great sort of visual for me many years ago when I first bought the book back in 1990. But the pivot action is vital. So from this angle, I'm going to coil it up, back, separate it down, moving into that left side. I'm compressing into the ground a bit more, and then from here I'm then springing up and through. Back, compressing, and up and around. Doing the piston drill, I can really get a sensation with this one of everything rising up, pushing into the ground, and up and again. That's one of my favourite ones for feeling the drill. And doing like so. Practicing that pivot action is going to make a difference to a lot of golfers' games because it's going to help to keep the club head moving on the right path as they swing around them. It's amazing how we see different movements when they're doing this. Okay, so that's pivot for me.